let me start by really thanking all of you for coming and having yourselves, give yourselves a big hand of applause. Because if Zahir and Noura were here and anyone else who has congressional experience, they will tell you, probably tell you, what I'm about to tell you, is that DC-based organizations can come into congressional offices with the most glossy materials and the most well-reasoned talking points, and it won't matter unless that organization shows that it has actual constituents behind it who care and support these same ideas. So really there's limited amount of work that we can do on Capitol Hill as the organizations based here in DC. What you're doing tomorrow is really much more important. So thank you all for coming and being a part of that. The first ask that we'd like you to bring up with members of Congress, and when we talk about making an ask, all we're saying is making a specific request for them to actually do something. In other words, we're not getting into philosophical discussions or vague political discussions about how we feel the Palestinian-Israeli conflict should be resolved. No, we're going in to ask for specific things that our members of Congress can either say yes or no to. That's really the point of Lobby Day. So the first thing that we would like you to request of your members of Congress is to focus in exactly on what Zahir mentioned in the opening panel, which is trying to get some accountability for Israel's misuse of U.S. weapons to commit human rights abuses, violations of international law, war crimes, and possible crimes against humanity against Palestinians in the occupied territories. Now, the way the budget cycle works is that the budget cycle gets passed in Congress a year in advance of the calendar year. So already we're into the 2011 budget cycle. The 2010 budget's already been passed and implemented. A few days after President Obama gave his State of the Union address in January, he submitted his 2011 budget request to Congress. And after he said, and you can see this in the first talking point, that he would, quote, go through the budget line by line to eliminate programs that we can't afford and don't work, he submitted his budget to Congress, including $3 billion in military aid to Israel. This is the largest single-year request by a president ever. And it's scheduled to continue to grow up to $3.1 billion in upcoming years. Well, the case that we'd like you to make tomorrow is that U.S. military aid to Israel is a program that fulfills both of President Obama's conditions for a program which should be cut. The United States cannot afford military aid to Israel, and military aid to Israel does not work in terms of bringing about a just and lasting peace between Israelis and Palestinians. Let me give you a few talking points. How many of you have checked out our new website, which we launched last month, aidtoisrael.org? Ooh, only a couple. All right. Well, I'm very proud to show off our new website here, which you all should check out this evening before you do your meetings. Like I said, it's aidtoisrael.org. And we were interested in figuring out how much each state, congressional district, county, and city in the United States provides in terms of military aid to Israel. So would somebody like to shout out a congressional district?
New York 15.
Okay, I heard New York 15. I really did. So here's what you do. You go on this map and you select congressional districts. And then you zoom in. And I apologize for the small screen, but we'll get there. New York 15, that's part of Manhattan, right?
Yes. Yeah, Harlem.
Oh, well, this is a good example. This is a very good example because we're trying to make the point that U.S. aid to Israel comes at a price that we can't afford in terms of unmet domestic needs. Sorry, let me go up I-95 here and zoom in. Well, let me just do this since that's what popped up. So Congressional District 13 in Pennsylvania, and the way we came up with these figures is we looked at U.S. Census Bureau figures for median income in a given area and also population size to kind of figure out the percentage of $30 billion over the next decade that state, congressional district, county, or city will be providing to Israel. And you can see that in this one congressional district in Pennsylvania, almost $80 million of those constituents' taxpayer dollars will be going to military aid to Israel. And we also said, what else could this money pay for in our congressional district? So you can see that in this congressional district, the federal government, instead, with this money, each year, could have provided 969 low-income households with Section 8 affordable housing voucher grants. It could have provided more than 1,300 job seekers with green jobs training for the new green energy economy. It could have provided more than 2,300 at-risk children with early reading education programs. And here's the most astounding thing. When I was going through and doing the data, I found a federal government program. That's a fantastic program. It costs about $100 per person, where the federal government gives grants to community health care centers to provide primary health care access for people who lack insurance. $100 per person. It's amazing. So with that money that we're providing in U.S. military aid to Israel, just in this congressional district, almost 65,000 people without health care insurance could get primary health care access to doctors. So please go on this site tonight, Aid to Israel, and look at your congressional district and give these numbers to your congressional offices when you meet with them tomorrow. I see your hands. I'm going to take questions in just a little bit.